Hello, Florian. How are you doing today? You're having a good day so far?
I'm doing well, thanks. And you?
Lovely. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Thank you. And of course, thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Consultancy Corner. Good to have you. But before we start, do you mind kind of giving me a little bit of an intro to yourself? What's tell us about Florian.
Yes, for sure. So I'm currently in Canada now, and as we talked last time, so I'm the founder of WESELCO.
Yeah.
I can give you a bit more details later. I guess it's one of your questions. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, short and simple. And yeah, so
We can redo
yeah,
from
of
the
course.
beginning. Yes, yeah.
We'll start again. Hi, Florian. How are you doing? This is, of course, my name's Dane. Thank you for joining me on the Consultancy Corner today. Do you mind kind of giving me a little bit of an intro to yourself?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm currently in Canada. As I told you last time, I travel a lot. I usually move from one country to another one. And I'm the founder of WESELCO, like an international marketing agency. I can give you a little bit more details like later. I also have a small YouTube channel. It was in French. Now it's gonna be in English very soon. And I give some tips, like people who want to travel. So I share my experience with people. And I'm also a mentor. I help students, like find their way, like professional way. So for this, it's been like 2, 3 years. So yes,
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, it seems like quite a lot you're doing at the moment, and especially being a digital nomad, must
that's
be quite hard
correct. Yes.
to fit it all in. But so my first question today would be, what is your background and what inspired you to go into consulting and
Yes, so I'm originally from France.
yeah.
I went to the south of France. I went to a business school called Cage Business School. I got an MBA and then I had like different like experiences. So first I was in finance. So like finance, I was financial analyst. Then I went to Luxembourg. I was in the forex industry. And then I moved to Canada and life was so different in Canada. And I got my first like real professional experience
Yeah.
in credit. So I was credit analyst for 1 year, and then I got an opportunity in sales. So I was working for American Express for 3 years, 2 years in sales. Amazing experience. Then COVID came, changed
Right.
a lot. And I was like, okay, it's maybe a great opportunity for me to start my own business.
Mhm.
So that's at this moment I moved back to Europe and I started, like this consulting business
Wow,
for a
amazing.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing, amazing experience. I focused on the French market for 1 year, and
Mhm.
then I decided to, deal with like international companies, and I started dealing with like companies based in Canada, US, Hong Kong, Spain, Denmark now. So it's pretty good so far. Yeah.
Very broad, very broad. And working quite as internationally as you do, does your business specialize in one particular area, or is there a few different things that you're sort of involved in?
Are you talking about like different industries, something like
Yeah, so
this?
different industries, any particular area that you're sort of specializing in that you think, okay, this is my niche and this is what we're going to go for.
I would say it's only B2B. I don't really do B2C. Like any type of industry, like financial industries, like food industry, marketing, accounting. So I'm very flexible,
Okay.
especially on LinkedIn and cold calling. So,
Yeah.
but now I focus on the Asian markets. So I want to like help Asian companies
Mhm.
expand the business like in Europe or North America, mostly on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Impressive.
but I would say I'm very flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I bet sort of things like cultural differences must be quite a hard thing to go by then, especially if you're working, across all these different areas. What's kind of been your biggest challenge then? Especially as someone who hasn't actually specialized yet in terms of area, what kind of companies they're working with? What's the main challenge for you as going forward?
As, yeah, as you mentioned, like culture is a big thing, So that's why I mostly specialize in the French market, like France, Canada, Luxembourg, Switzerland. But I have a little bit background in North America, US, so I can bring this kind of culture. And I travel a lot, so it's very important, when you spend like 1, 2, 3 months per country, you learn a little bit more about the culture. So I would say it's something good for me. And
Mhm.
especially for someone who is based in Hong Kong, for example, they grew up in Hong Kong, they know the culture, but they don't really know how to deal with French clients or
Yeah.
people based in North America. So they need someone to understand the culture. And for example, with my current contract, like in Denmark,
Hmm.
I prospect in the French market, but the French market is so different to the Danish market. So they don't understand this. So you first I have to explain how we deal with French companies,
Yeah,
then establish the right strategy and like the operational, like contact this person in the right way.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I would say that's a big challenge because sometimes, people contact me from different countries and I can't sometimes, if you ask me to prospect in Philippines, for example, I won't be able to do it because I don't really know the market. So
Yeah.
it's one of my biggest challenge one, especially now because I want to be more international. So I have to learn a lot about different countries, different culture.
I mean, yeah, and especially as someone who travels a lot as well, I'm sure, time zones are probably quite a big issue for you. I mean, for us, we work with various different countries, we've got Guyana, North America, some
Yeah.
people around, in kind of Arab areas, the Middle East. What kind of challenges does this bring out for you, and how are you kind of managing that, in terms of dealing with clients? They say one's in Hong Kong, one's in France, for example. What do you do in that kind of situation? What's your
I mean, that's a big challenge. So now I start my day at 3 a.m. So it's
Okay. Yeah.
when you wake up at 2:30 at 3 a.m. and you have to start walking, it's kind of difficult, but that's something I chose.
Yeah.
But something can be good. For example, like I will go to Asia very soon,
Hmm.
and the thing with like the European market, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I can do something, I work with different freelancers too, so they're gonna help me. So trying to be flexible, and when it's related to LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. Even if you're based in Hong Kong, Paris, or I don't know, New York City, it's okay on LinkedIn. You can be flexible. For
Absolutely.
cold calling, it's different because you have to be like it depends on the industry, the location. So
Yeah. And what would
so
you say?
sometimes yeah, I have to
Okay.
outsource. Yeah,
Nice. And what's the hardest, let's say, location you'd say you've worked with in terms of cold calling?
I mean, like when I'm in North America and I
Hmm.
have to call you, that's
Yeah.
that's the situation now. Like,
Absolutely. I do like calling people in, let's say, Central Europe, though. I think there's sometimes very interesting conversations. There might be a little bit of, let's say, like a language barrier there, but I do think, sometimes they drop so many
yeah.
gems of knowledge that I'm like, huh, never thought of that before. And yeah, come out of the conversation a smarter man.
For the
Um,
cold calling, I usually do France only, France, Quebec, Belgium, Luxembourg. But
okay.
for the English part, I usually ask someone from this country,
Yeah.
or for example, if it's Spanish or something like this. I
Okay.
want someone from the country because, for example, for the French market, if you speak with a French, like with an accent, they
Yes.
might not talk to you. It's very,
Very interesting.
people can be very close-minded. So that's
Yeah.
why sometimes I want to have someone from the country, you know.
Yeah. Someone who speaks their mother tongue. Yeah, that's a very, very, very interesting point that. And I mean, kind of following on from that, then, with consultants as a general, from your experience, what would you say have been the biggest challenges you've had to face, and how has that kind of affected your direction within your journey?
I would say the biggest challenge is now
Mhm.
because we are about to enter a recession. Businesses are going down, they're laying off people, they don't really have a high budget. So I would say the most difficult part is now. It's more difficult than before. Like 2 years ago, it was so much easier. People had money. I didn't have to prospect. People came to me. Now I have to prospect. So it's kind of different. So it's interesting period.
Mhm.
But I would say the most difficult challenge, like it's now trying to find clients and keep your business going.
Okay, yeah, finding clients is definitely something that we kind of hear a lot in terms of how people are doing it. And then with that, what kind of strategies do you use? What helps you find clients? Just because, of course, I know you do the LinkedIn, the cold calling for clients, but for you to find these clients for that, what's your strategy? What's your go-to?
My niche is Asia, so that's something new. When
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, it's like I decided like maybe 2 months ago, so it's pretty new.
Yeah,
I'm in contact with like even like in China. I want to focus on China too, so there's like different people in China try to understand like how I can approach them.
yeah.
So that's pretty new for me, I would say.
Okay.
But you said something interesting about LinkedIn. I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure like a lot of chat, GDP, all this kind of stuff where so A lot of people are talking about this on LinkedIn because, you know, when you reach out to someone, the first question is, are you talking to someone or are you talking to a robot? So
Robots. Yeah.
that's a big, big, big topic now.
Hmm.
But I do everything by myself. That's
Okay.
why. You know, when I
Yeah.
manage your LinkedIn profile from A to Z, it's by myself. I don't use any tool. When
Hmm.
I would contact a prospect, I do a lot of research first.
Yeah.
So this person understands it's someone like, and not just a robot. That's a big topic. Like ChatGPT, we're gonna
Yeah.
learn a lot of this.
Absolutely. Yeah. ChatGPT is definitely up there. I mean, for us, it's kind of especially on the copywriting aspect, is something that will
Exactly.
be a very useful tool a little bit further down the line. But at the moment, everything is kind of manual. We do it all in-house, try making sure that
Yes,
it's as personal to the clients as possible. But we can see definitely where we're going with AI as it's improving. The applications to business, wow, endless really. So
exactly.
I think, yeah, that's definitely something really interesting that even for ourselves is to look into the future and how we
Yeah.
can use it to help us, not to replace us.
Yeah, because if you use this kind of software, you don't really need my services technically. You
Yeah.
just like set up everything and it's gonna be automatic. But the problem is people don't want this anymore. Like I know a lot of people are talking about this, but I'm pretty sure like in 5, 10 years, people will get tired of AI. They want like real people. They want to talk to someone. They want to have a video call like this and learn more about the company.
Mhm.
So I'm not very worried about this
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a good way
opinion.
of viewing it for sure. Not yet anyway. And
It's gonna change maybe in 2, 3 months. Maybe I will tell you like in 5 months. I love
in
ChatGPT.
five
I'm
months,
gonna
yeah,
change
we'll tell
my
you
business.
I've got shares now. Uh, and I mean, leading on from that as well is a case of, AI and these kind of things are, of course, industry developments. But what are other industry developments that you've seen in your time working that you've kind of seen as like a real key area?
In what do you mean? Like what kind of industry? Like
But just in
what?
general, like what do you think are the latest industry developments and how do you keep up with those? Are you on newsletters or how do you find
Or
what's happening?
are you talking about like the way I prospect new clients or like
Not even just that, just in terms of, within the consultancy world,
or the business development consult? Okay,
just in general, yeah, what kind of developments are you seeing? Or even,
that's that's
sorry.
a good question because before it was in person,
Hmm.
then it was like emailing, LinkedIn, social any kind of social media like on Instagram, TikTok, cold calling. So that's I can't answer this question because it's like every 5 years, every 10 years, you know, there is a new social media, like a new skills like AI. So
Yeah,
it's pretty new. So I don't know how to answer this question, but I'm pretty sure like cold calling would still be on LinkedIn more and more in Asia, for example.
yeah,
It's very popular in US and Europe now, but maybe people won't use LinkedIn anymore, maybe in 5 years and use another like social, like I don't know, like LinkedIn 2, something like this. I don't know.
for
So it's
sure.
kind of difficult to predict the future, you know.
Yeah,
I know AI is coming, more and more people are talking about this. I will have to change my strategy. But I know at the end people want to talk to people and not
yeah,
talk to robots. So I
absolutely.
don't know how to talk about this. But we can also talk about different industries, you know, crypto,
Hmm.
like I don't know, like green companies. It depends, you know, every year is different. We're about to enter recession, so it's gonna be very different. So I don't know how to answer this question.
No, that's completely understandable. I don't think I would know, the best way to answer it myself, to be
Yeah.
honest. That's why I ask it, just so I
It's
can find.
important to change the strategy, especially now, you know.
Mm,
Like I love to have feedback from my clients, like what should I change, you know, the way I work or what should I add, you know. So that's very important. Like
yeah,
have feedback, a lot of feedback.
definitely. Yeah, feedback. I mean, it's even similar to referrals, right? If you get a good referral, that's very good feedback. I mean, and it always
Exactly.
shows with clients that, for example, that we sign through referrals. and the clients that
Exactly.
are flying just from pure outbound, there's definitely a big difference in, how they approach, kind of
Mhm.
what we do and how things kind of turn out. So yeah, feedback is definitely good because, it kind of helps people understand it from the customer point of view rather than from the person, presenting. So yeah, it's definitely would agree on that one.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And as we get towards kind of the end of the questions, so I'm not going to try and make it too long. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that consultants are making at the moment with their clients?
Yes. Many things. My Based on my experience, I wanted to have a lot of clients. You know, you move from one client to another one. You're dealing with maybe three, four clients at the same time, and that's very bad. Because if you like have to deal with four clients, you're not gonna be able to focus, like give a lot, like do something correctly.
Hmm.
And the problem is this client might tell you, like, I don't want to work with you anymore because it's not, I don't like it. I don't like what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you get tired easily. And you can go to burnout, you can, I know a lot of people, they want to do a lot. And after 1, 2 years, they say, it's not for me anymore. I'm doing so much work. They don't want to outsource the work. They don't want to get, like, I don't know, a freelancer. So it's important to focus on maybe two, three clients, max maybe two clients, and
Yeah,
do a great job. And step by step, get new like freelancer with you so they can help you and build something like an agency.
absolutely.
And the second thing is about the pricing, because I can see a lot like on LinkedIn, people complaining about what price is it per day? Should I do per mission? Like, should I be flexible?
Hmm.
And I can see a lot, and also based on my experiences, we have to be strict with the pricing.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to be like very flexible before, like, okay, I can do it. I can do it for free. I can do it for free because I need money. But
Yeah.
at the end, you're working a lot for nothing. So I don't know how to explain this in English, but you have to be very strict with your pricing and don't be afraid to say no. And even if you lose one client, but you have to respect yourself, at the end. You're doing a great job. You have skills,
Yeah.
nice background, nice clients, doing a great job, but you can do something for cheap. I
Yeah.
know the situation is pretty bad today. A lot of businesses want you to do something for cheaper, but you also have to think about you, about your company, about your freelancers or employee if you have employees, and how to grow your business, and provide the best work you can do.
Mm. Well, yeah, very interesting insights, especially what you mentioned about taking on too many clients before you've got the infrastructure ready. Gosh, I can't even speak
Yeah,
today. And yeah, I definitely think it's something worth a lot of business owners to kind of consider before they kind of sign
exactly.
on. Can I handle this? Am I going to be able to give people the same quality service
Exactly the
across
same.
the board? Because you don't want to have inconsistencies where one client is super happy and the other one on the other hand is thinking where are the
Exactly.
results, right? So yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. And then even the pricing, when you mentioned, I think yeah, that's definitely something to look into. If you're giving out too many discounts, the inconsistencies will show, and you can't give the same service to everyone but be charging different prices. So that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
My humble opinion, shall we say. um and with the projects that you work on, do you mind kind of giving like an example or even just a very vague example of kind of the type of projects that you'd be doing? Or, let's say, for example, a campaign from start to finish, what does that look like for you?
For WESELCO,
Pardon, sorry?
for my current business, WESELCO, or like another type
Yes.
of project.
So just for your current business, what would you even define success as? How would you say, okay, this is now completely finished and this has been successful? Shake hands, it's done.
Like, you're talking about my goals, technically, what for this year. Like, as mentioned, I want to have like I want to move my business to Asia. That's my goal for this year. Because today it's based in Estonia. My company is based in Estonia.
Mhm.
Because I focused on the French, like the European markets mostly. But I want to move to Hong Kong and have a base in Hong Kong and deal with like clients in Asia. So I
Yeah.
can help them, expand the business in Europe and North America. That's my main goal. But the main problem, I have one client in Hong Kong, but
Okay.
it's very difficult to get new clients in Hong Kong, Singapore, Bangkok. So it's going to be a big, big challenge for me. Try how to reach out to them. because it's different. They don't use cold calling first. It's mostly based on referrals. LinkedIn is still very new, especially except for Hong Kong and Singapore.
Yeah,
But it's still like I can still do a lot, So it's
absolutely.
gonna be a big challenge, moving from France to more international to Asia now. So it's not gonna be easy, but my goal is to find like the right people and don't do everything by myself. Like I have to outsource and build, a team so we
Yeah,
can be successful. It's gonna
ab-
be another challenge to find the right people.
yeah.
It's I had an intern and it was not very great, but it's difficult to find like someone who you can trust.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
yeah.
And so with the cold calling strategy, the LinkedIn stuff,
Mm.
how do you generate new ideas for your clients, for example? Let's say one strategy is not working, one type of like, let's say script on the call is not working. What's your sort of method and coming up with something new and testing that out as well?
So technically I built the cold calling template
Mhm.
and it's usually each industry is different. So I have to try first. For example, you ask me to call, I don't know, like the plumbing industry in Germany. I don't know anything, so I have to study, I have to try what people like, what people dislike, what should I change. So it takes a little bit of time. For
Okay.
example, now for the French market, you need like 1 month, 2 months to understand, what so you can so technically you modify all the time. You
Mhm.
try different thing, and when you stay successful, you just apply this.
Yeah.
It takes time. For LinkedIn, it's the same, depends like on the market you want to focus because LinkedIn can be I have, people in my network from Asia, from Africa, from Europe, everything. But LinkedIn wants you to focus technically on one market because based on the language, based on your network, so they're going to propose you the same people all the time. So
Yeah.
I have to talk a lot with the client first before working. I want to understand what they're looking for, what language, what market, what industry, what kind of personality. Because technically on LinkedIn, it's like you're playing a role, you're not yourself technically.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
have to, it's also this kind of, I have to understand what personality you want to.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of like preparation, I would say. Like
absolutely.
writing a post is easy, if you know the right hashtag, like video, photo, it depends on what you want, but you need to prepare a lot, like what you want to show to people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, absolutely, definitely understand that. I mean, especially with LinkedIn, sometimes when you have conversations with people on LinkedIn, it definitely doesn't feel like a real conversation. It just feels like someone's just
exactly.
trying to throw a few business jargon at you, ultimately
Yeah,
to get something out of you. But definitely think, where you say speak to people first, to have a proper diagnosis and to learning exactly what they need if you can provide it, because a lot of the time, sometimes, even myself, I fall into the trap sometimes where, I'll be speaking to someone, I think, okay, this is a really good prospect, let's close, but really, maybe I'm not the best person to do that when someone else could do it better. So it's definitely worth spending that extra bit of time and figuring out whether or not you're right and if the client's right. And yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I digress a little bit there, don't I?
LinkedIn is a great tool, it's because when you do cold calling, you have to do LinkedIn too.
Yeah,
Like maybe the company name, but you have to find the right person in the company. You can say, oh, I just came across your profile on LinkedIn. I saw you posted about this.
yeah,
By the way, blah 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 blah. So it's a good approach. So
definitely.
when I say LinkedIn and cold calling, I use both and I use emailing too. So I would not imagine the future like a sales guy doing one thing, just cold calling like a call center. It
Yeah,
makes no sense for me. You're not gonna be successful. You have to use different tool. You have to be curious and focus on quality and not quantity. That's another problem today. Social media is like, you want to talk to everyone. You have to have like 10,000 likes, 10,000 friends. You want to be loved by everyone,
mhm,
you want to have so many clients, but at the end, no, it doesn't work. Quality first.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, we always say, five great clients are better than 1,000 maybe okay
Exactly.
clients.
The
Because
target
you
so
want that.
low, 80. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you want that kind of longevity as well, don't you, with your clients? You don't want just kind of one-time things. So you would kind of need, repeat customers, right? You want to keep them relationships. You want to keep farming
Exactly.
don't want to become a hunter, just like constantly chasing, chasing,
Exactly.
chasing. Because you chase, they're gonna run. But whereas
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, when you chase too much, they'll run. Whereas if you're relaxed about it, you know exactly what you're doing. You're going for quality. A lot of the time, people are way more open to have those conversations with you. Even
Mhm.
sometimes they don't need it. It could be for the future. It could be for another person that they know, a client, a referral, something like that. So yeah, definitely agree there. Cool, calm, and collected as always.
Yeah.
And of course, with you moving again. How are you going to be generating new clients throughout 2023? I mean, if you're going to be in the new location, are you still going to, you know,
For the prospection part, how I'm gonna contact people,
yeah.
it's gonna be on LinkedIn, still LinkedIn, But because now will move to the Asian market, so I will discover new social media. So I will try, for example, like the Chinese market, different apps. So it's gonna be very new. So
Yeah.
I will try. So to be honest, LinkedIn is great, but the problem is I understood something recently.
Hmm.
My business is focused on LinkedIn only. If I
Yeah.
lose my LinkedIn, I lose my business. I'm telling this because I canceled my SalesNav
Okay.
account
Wow.
like for 2 months,
Yeah.
But I was still prospecting people. And I got a warning 3 days later from LinkedIn, like saying I was using a tool or something like this, but I'm not using anything. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, if something happens to my LinkedIn profile, I lose everything. I lose my
Yeah.
business. So for 2023, keep LinkedIn cold calling, but I want to explore different social media
Yeah.
and be like, try different things. So if something happens on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I can still, like do something else.
It's in the business,
So
absolutely.
that's something very important because I met a lot of people, they had a business based on Facebook, for example, like 10,000 followers, like people were spending a lot, she was making a lot of money, and like the profile got hacked and she lost her Facebook profile. So she lost everything.
Yeah.
So it's important now to be flexible and, have different
Absolutely.
like backup. Yeah.
All the platforms. Yeah. I think I just the other day, it's not an ad or anything. I found this other kind of like platform. They call it Inch. I haven't actually been on it myself yet, but it said it's another new business platform, so it might be worth checking that out at some point. And then, of course, I think what's it? WeChat is quite big in Asia, right? I was going to ask you about this earlier when you first mentioned it, but of course, I don't know how all these work. So I think for me as well, it's definitely a case of having a look on these other platforms and seeing,
Yeah.
how other people are doing it. So my last question
And
is going to be, what should I be asking, and what would you ask our next guest?
like, as I just mentioned, like how can you be flexible, especially now when everything is changing, AI,
Mhm.
sometimes you get, like on different social media, if you say something wrong, they're gonna ban you. It's very difficult now. So how can you be flexible? Like the thing is for a business, you have to think about how to grow your business every single day.
Yeah,
And the problem, a lot of businesses, they say, okay, we're good at this, we're gonna keep doing this, that's it.
yeah,
If anything happened, we saw with COVID, like all the businesses, it's not their fault, but you're not too flexible, you lose your business. So COVID, like we learned a lot with COVID, like you have to be flexible. If something happens, plan A, B, C, D, and then. So it would be a question, like for example, if your business, I don't know, consulting, it can be consulting in the food industry, I don't know, like milk, doesn't matter.
yeah,
But if something happens, what you're gonna do, you
yeah,
know? So
yeah.
that's something very important. And do you want to expand to another country? How does it work? So I would say the main word is flexibility. How
Nice.
do you deal with flexibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll definitely add that.
Context where anything can happen. That's
Anything, absolutely anything at this stage. But yeah, I mean, thank you very much for
Thank you very much for
all your
hosting me.
insights. It's been very, very interesting, and I definitely would be happy to keep in touch and keep
For
keep
sure.
keep throwing ideas out there. And then yeah, we should definitely be good to go. I'm having people knock on the door now. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, and
Thank
I will
you very much.
speak to you again soon. And of course, I'll let you know whenever we're ready to post and everything like that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.